The Norse survival game taking the 9 other worlds by storm, Valheim is the surprise viral hit of the year, selling 1 million copies for each of the 2 weeks this game has been out. Early access survival games can be intimidating to know where to begin, and Valheim doesn't hold your hand. But with these beginner tips, you'll be on the right track to make the Allfather proud, slay some trolls, and raise mighty halls. My name is Dylan, and welcome to the couch. The first thing to keep in mind is how the saves work. Characters and worlds are created separately, a system that will be familiar with fans of games like Terraria. What this means is that you can have a character with high level gear and high skills, and create a new world to start over, retaining skill levels and anything in their inventory. Conversely, you can create a new character and plop them in a world where you've already established settlements and hoarded resources. If you don't like your starting world or need to find specific resources but don't feel quite ready to take on the high seas, don't be afraid to make a new world with a random seed or one you found online. You can even transport materials between the two as long as you have room in your inventory. The second tip is about materials and recipes. The first time you pick up a new material or build a crafting station, you will automatically discover crafting recipes related to that material. This may seem restrictive at first, but it keeps the pace consistent. So get out there, collect resources, craft what you can, and more recipes will come consistently and naturally. Third is how to use map pins. As you explore, you may come across structures or mineral deposits you'll want to return to later. To place a pin, open your map, choose an icon, and double-click where you want it. Clicking an icon again will cross it out if it's a clear dungeon, for example, while right-clicking will delete it. The middle mouse button will also release a ping, useful for multiplayer. Finally, you can adjust your minimap distance with the greater than and less than buttons on the bottom right of your keyboard. Repairing structures and equipment is also a little confusing. Structures can be repaired with the hammer by right-clicking and selecting Repair, then all it costs is stamina to repair each wall, floor, or crafting station. Exposed walls and floors can be damaged by rain, enemies, or just by accident. Equipment can be repaired at various crafting stations depending on what the tool is made out of, but as of right now also does not cost any material to repair. So don't get rid of broken equipment, they can be fixed for free. The fifth tip is how the food works in Valheim. Unlike virtually all survival games, food in Valheim is not necessary for survival. You'll never die of hunger or thirst. Rather, eating food will temporarily boost your health and stamina pools and how quickly they regenerate. Gathered food gives small bonuses, with cooked meats and honey offering much larger benefits. If you're going into a dangerous biome, it may be worth having some hearty meals. If you're just gathering wood, it may still be worth a few bites of whatever raspberries or mushrooms you can find, since they'll still boost your stamina and are plentiful in the wild. You can only have 3 pieces of food active at a time, so choose wisely. Hovering over the item in your inventory will tell you the bonuses and their duration. Speaking of food, the 6th tip is how to easily get one of the strongest early game food items, honey. This sweet nectar of the Norse gods can be found in beehives, sometimes hanging out in abandoned houses. Don't get too close or you'll be poisoned, and rather than waste a bunch of arrows shooting it, you can simply place a workshop down, then use the middle mouse button with the hammer to destroy the walls or roof, keeping it up. Once the supports are gone, the hive will be destroyed, giving you a few pieces of honey, as well as a queen bee to set up your own hive back at your base. Honey not only boosts your health and stamina pools, it boasts a sizable health regenerate and can later be used for mead. Tip number 7 is what to gather before taking on the first boss. You won't be able to mine rocks or metals before defeating him, so it's best to do this as soon as possible. However, better equipment will make for an easier fight. First, you should focus on killing as many boars as possible. Not only will they drop meat to keep your food stores up, but they also drop leather scraps, an important crafting item regardless of which stage of the game you're in. Specifically, they should be used to craft the bow, which will make hunting deer significantly easier. Deer are skittish creatures, and while you can sneak up and backstab them, it's much easier and slightly less frustrating to take them out with the bow. Basic arrows only cost wood, which is plentiful, and aren't much worse than their upgraded flint arrows. Deer drop a deer hide, which is also used in a bunch of recipes, but at this point can be crafted into leather armor, offering some real protection. Flint is a slightly rare material, lighter in color than stone, often found near bodies of water and rivers, and can be used to craft a flint spear and flint axe, a step up from the gear we've been using. Don't forget to upgrade gear as you see fit at the workbench. After all, hoarded materials offer no immediate benefit, but extra armor, damage, or durability can make all the difference. Now you're looking like a real Viking. The combat system may feel clunky at first, but as you get more weapon types and encounter more dangerous enemies, it actually offers a lot of variance. Tip number 8 is about critical hits, how to get them and when to strike. After hitting an enemy a few times, they'll make a staggering motion like they're off balance. Hitting them now will give a damage bonus. This is true from the weakest greyling to the scariest of trolls. The color of the number will also give you a hint as to what kinds of damage certain enemies are weak or resistant to. You can also parry enemies by blocking just as they hit, also putting them off balance and leaving them vulnerable to massive damage. There is a limit to what each shield can parry, so don't expect to dominate trolls with a series of parries, it won't end well. Once you're able to start mining metals, you'll quickly realize that weight capacity isn't just for show. The massive weight of ore can slow down mining, but tip number 9 is about how you can speed up that process. The first tactic is the classic lean-to. The idea is to place a workbench down, followed by 2 walls and some roof. The reason is to have a place to repair broken tools, but a workbench needs a roof to do so. You can also place a chest down to free up inventory space. Just be careful while you're building to not be taken by surprise by any wandering skeletons, grey dwarves, or trolls. Note that this will only be viable with the antler pickaxe, since pickaxes made out of metal will require the forge to repair. The same strategy applies, just be sure to save some metal bars. You get them back when you deconstruct the crafting station. A fire can also be a good idea since the cold will slow down stamina regeneration. The other tactic is to build a cart. This will require a few bronze bars to already be made, but can transport massive amounts of material regardless of weight. Be cautious as the cart will slow you down severely, can be destroyed, and can get stuck on logs and rocks quite easily. Going uphill is nearly impossible without sprinting, and even then is a struggle. Tin can be found near water in the Black Forest, with copper more inland. Both can be hard to distinguish from other rocks, but hovering the cursor over them will reveal if they are indeed a deposit or just another boulder. Now that we have access to metals and transporting massive amounts of resources, building grand halls is much more viable. Tip number 10 is all about building. One important factor is support. Structures need supporting beams, but more than that, those beams must connect directly to the ground. If you build a floor on a foundational pole, but your support beam is on another corner of that floor tile, it will not be as structurally sound as if you placed each beam on top of the other. Bronze axes will also allow you to collect core wood from pine trees, which is much sturdier than the basic wooden beam. As you build, hovering over each wall, beam, and roof will tell you how sound it is based on color. Green means good, red means anything else attached to it may collapse. If that last tile of roof keeps collapsing, chances are your foundations are not connected to the ground. You can use the hoe to raise the ground to be sure, or the pickaxe to lower it if need be. This is crucial for multi-story structures. Lastly, smoke can accumulate if you place a fire inside, so be sure to build a chimney either with walls or by turning one of the roof tiles. Leaving an open spot can leave the fire vulnerable to rain, which will render it inoperable. Staying in a smoke-filled room will slowly but surely lead to suffocation. And there you have it, some tips to get you started conquering the 10th Norse world. I'm still learning too, so if you've got any tips yourself, leave them in the comments. If you found any of my tips helpful, please give the video a like. Don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button and give that bell a ring for any Valheim videos in the future. I'm Dylan, and until next time, Skål!